you guys up to?
We just took our take-home COVID test.
And
I still have COVID. Angelo somehow doesn't. And he's like all congested and stuff still. Amanda's getting ready to take hers.
I mean, if you had it, I don't know how that works though. Like you need to have what, a couple negative results to go back or something?
I wouldn't feel right going back to the office or to a job site or anything else until I got at least one negative test.
Yeah.
But I thought for sure with everybody getting better, it would have been like a slam dunk. Nope.
But you're feeling better at least?
Oh my God, yeah. Mila's been feeling better. She's been like antsy and bored and everything else like most of the week. But Angelo and me and Amanda ended up, she thinks she's got pneumonia. She hasn't gone to the doctors to be confirmed or whatever, but
you were supposed to take Angelo to the doctor this morning.
Yeah, but he's not even anywhere close to being as congested as he was before.
Angelo.
Hi.
What's up, man?
Also, I heard you are in the Pokemon cards.
Of course I am. Do you have any?
He has a lot. He has a full thing of them. Go get it. I have a lot of Pokemon. He's gonna go get it. Oh, he has a lot. A few of them I don't really know where they are. Like my first few.
You know how valuable they are right now?
No, he has no idea. I keep trying to tell him, I'm like, we're gonna get you some sleeves and stuff and put these things away and blah blah blah. And he leaves them around the house and everything. He's a mess. Because nobody's here yet. I don't think anybody's gonna jump on until like 8. He's probably upstairs in bed.
Can you ask if we can see him?
She's probably in bed, Mila.
I want to say hi.
She goes to bed early.
He's not on.
Yeah, I think he went to get his binder.
He had a binder?
Yeah.
What? Binder? He doesn't have
Not yet. Skylar, why are you peeing over the thing?
It's cute.
There it is.
Oh my gosh. That's so cool. It has Ash and Pikachu on it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and
all cool. All of them.
Oh my goodness. With them. And I have one XL one, a big one.
Oh, I see.
It's
Was
a
that
Dragonite.
Mm-hmm.
I have an XL one too. It's a Dragonite B. I only have a couple of them, like in a kit. I don't have a lot. I gave my sister one of my worst Pokemon cards. I didn't for $3. You didn't tell me. That's one of
yeah, he charged her for it.
All right, he sold her a card.
It was my worst Pokemon card. But I still have the card and I have the money.
You never paid him for it?
Yeah, I did pay him and then I got it.
You just took the money.
By the way, I don't really have many old Pokemon. I do have an Oddish and a Doug Trio. And Dragonite. Those are most of my main old Pokemon. Most of them are newer ones.
I got the ones from when I was a little bit older than you guys, probably. I got like the first generation, I don't know. I think I got just about all of the original.
Do you have a dead duo?
Mm-hmm. Somewhere in here.
I have a Rockruff. And
Mila, you remember my cat Charlie?
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm.
Can you see my scratch on my face?
Yeah. Wait, how did you get that?
I was asleep and Charlie wanted to jump out of bed, so he jumped off of my face.
Oh God.
Oh my God.
That happened at 5 o'clock in the morning the other day.
That's terrible.
Yeah.
No.
All right, guys. Say night, Uncle Phil.
Night, Uncle Phil.
Night, guys. What's up, man?
Going crazy. Oh my God. I am so devastated. We took those at home tests. I already said it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Thought I was going back to work. Nope.
What have you been? Do you just have to keep pushing stuff, or is somebody covering for you?
I have to do the best I can from home. Just figure it out. And the worst part is now there's a project that I'm trying to negotiate now to get, like, wants us to start moving on it like the next week or two. And I'm like, if we could get the money and stuff right and get the contract and that stuff signed, I might have some time, but I gotta get out of this freaking house. What's up, Brandon?
No, man. I'm sorry, I came in late. I was watching the Dak Prescott show lose.
Yeah, I got that on right now.
What is it?
Dak versus or should I say Dallas versus San Fran?
Oh,
Yeah. It shouldn't even came down to it like that. Like, first off, Shanahan be calling some dumb stuff, man. Like,
What's the score?
It just
20
ended.
23-17.
Who won?
49ers.
What?
Yeah.
I saw the beginning. I didn't get to see the rest of it.
You saying what? You got to play the 49ers, huh? Because you guys play who do you guys play tomorrow?
St. Louis.
Okay. All right. So y'all play the Rams, and then
we're coming out the gate with a possibility of getting our butts whipped.
y'all coming out hot.
That's what I'm saying. So
The
far,
Cardinals, they look good though. The Cardinals started the season off like they were gonna go to the Super Bowl with me. Like I had Kyler Murray as the MVP the first half of the season.
Yeah.
So did Buffalo. And then eventually the wheels came off a little bit. But Buffalo was just nasty.
They look good yesterday though.
Man.
Who you got between Kansas City and the Steelers?
I don't want to. I can't bet against Kansas City.
See, I can't. But I was surprised that Pittsburgh won because it's Ben's last year. They were just pulling shit out their ass, you know.
Oh, you think it'll be fixed?
And Peyton Manning won, didn't they?
Well, Peyton Manning, Von Miller was there, and he made a big difference. I don't know if. I mean, they got the Watt brother,
which is nasty. Von.
Yeah.
He nastier than Von, man. I hate to say it.
Get a no-name receiver and turn him into a starter somewhere else. Like it seems like for Ben's whole career, 1 through 3 or 4 has been A's or B's for the most part. I don't know, like from even back with like Santonio Holmes and Plaxico Burress, like Randall L. They always had some guys, and like Chase Claypool and those type of dudes. They're all right. Yeah, that's a Ravens type wide receiver. Even he could go over there.
They did have AB. They had AB. Juju.
Mm-hmm.
I think
who's retiring though, right?
Huh?
You see who's retiring though, right?
Yeah, Ben.
No, they're GM.
Oh, really?
Ben. Yeah, Ben's man. He should have retired years ago, but their GM is about to retire. Colbert.
I don't think Ben wants to retire. I just think that the GM wasn't bringing him back. You see what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I agree.
And their backup is not worthy, man. Like I would just bring Ben back for another year. Like,
well, that's because Ben, when they drafted, what was it, like Rudolph or Randolph or whatever, he didn't want to be his mentor or whatever. He's just like, it is what it is. So it comes down to whoever gets Deshaun Watson at this point.
Right.
Yeah, because that's a game changer for whoever ends up with it, whether it's Denver, them, Miami, whoever it is.
Yeah. I mean, the sad part is wherever Deshaun Watson would have gone this year, could have won the Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
But nobody was willing to either A, pay enough, or and Houston wasn't willing to let them go. So they're going to get absolutely nothing in return.
It's a huge gamble. I agree. Because if he gets convicted,
fight your fate. It's kind of like, it's like why make some? It's like this thing that's going on with Ben Simmons, right? Let him go. Instead, you're like, you know what? No, we're just gonna pay him and keep him so nobody can have him. Who are you hurting? You ain't hurting him. You still paying him $50 million this year.
It's insane, man. It's insane. And that's the thing. It's like, are you the idea of losing a player that could do some damage to you later on or whatever? Is it really worth that amount of money?
No, see, that's not worth it, man. Like Ben Simmons, any of these players. Look, if you don't want to play for me, I'll find you somewhere you want to play. There's always somebody comparable. Like, and I get it with Ben Simmons. Like, you might not be able to trade anybody. I would trade Westbrook for Ben Simmons right now.
Excuse me?
Yes, I would. Just to get off the money. I'm just saying, like, they both getting paid. Am I right or wrong?
But he's the kind of guy that would hurt your franchise.
So Westbrook would come and ball out. He would at least play.
I mean, if I was the Lakers, I would take that trade in a heartbeat. Yeah, if I'm the Sixers, I don't think I'm doing that.
That's what I was trying to, because I am a Lakers fan. Like,
oh my God, man.
Ben Simmons.
And that would be another one of those. I mean, that's probably going too far off on it, but fitment wise, where in the world would Ben Simmons play on that court?
You don't think Ben would fit? Come on, man. You're joking,
for the Lakers?
Right? Oh, that would be a fit in heaven.
I mean, if you already have a point guard that can't shoot, at least give me a point forward that he can't shoot, but he's a much better point guard than
Seven turnovers.
Plus, he's a Rich Paul client, so it would make sense. Yeah, I mean, if you just come out and give just 12 points, 8 assists, 6 rebounds, and 2 turnovers, we win the game. That's how it is.
Like he said, if you just come out and give me 12 points and 10 turnovers, give me the same Westbrook guys, but 10 more points, you're winning games.
Seriously.
Westbrook, I watched him go 0 for 12, and he's still. It's like, bro, you need to sit down, man. And I don't know why the coach isn't pulling him. I'd have benched him. Like, bro, you need to sit down, man. Sit down right here beside me. Sit right here, right next to me.
Truth be told, I'm wondering why people aren't comfortable enough with the whole like they do at baseball, like sending them back. Now that you've got the G League and stuff up and going, like,
but you know what though?
Reps down there.
So they do though, but they don't do that to superstars. That's the difference.
He's not a superstar anymore.
LM's brother, what is his name? Angelo Ball.
Right, LeAngelo.
Yo, he can hoop, yo. I tell you right now, he the nastiest ball brother out of all of them.
No, he is not.
Have you watched some of his his pure 3-point shooting? He is
I've
followed the Ball family for years now. He can play, but he is not.
Because he just got more heart. Like, don't get me wrong. Look, I feel like the oldest brother is at the bottom. It's between the middle child and the youngest.
So why isn't he on an NBA roster right now if he's better than Lonzo?
Because his dad don't know how to shut the fuck up.
Come on. He's been quiet. He's been quiet for months, if not more than a year, man. He ain't doing nothing lately.
Yo, his dad's the reason why Lonzo ain't in LA. Because he talks too much.
Lonzo just had the most efficient game in Bulls history since Derrick Rose, like 2 nights ago. Like, Lonzo has the trajectory of being, I think he's beyond what Jason Kidd was. I think Lonzo ends up better than him. And LeAngelo, yeah, absolutely. I said that since high school. I've been following him since he was playing high school because he was more of a scorer back then, but he's always had a smooth game. But he just understands his skill set translates to like a 20-year NBA career. Like, he knows basketball. And then You can't put LiAngelo above LaMelo even at this point. LaMelo's the hooping.
I feel like
nasty, man.
I feel like Lonzo's at the bottom right now, and I'm not saying Lonzo's a scrub at all. Like, I just feel like when he was with the Lakers, he didn't live up to the potential he had.
He was like 19 years old.
Right now.
You know, brother, he's 19 years old and he's killing it.
His brother is the middle child, so he's older than LaMelo. And think of if the Lakers had Lonzo Ball right now, they'd be the number 1 seed in the West, right? Do you know how nice he is?
I don't think Lonzo didn't mesh with LA that good. The only reason
because he was too young, bro. That was his first and second year.
It's because LeBron didn't want him. It's because LeBron didn't want him.
It's because LeBron wants to have vets when he goes to every team. That's why that's why Wiggins got traded when they got Kevin Love. Like Wiggins was too young to fit with the timeline of LeBron.
All that, he would have been fine at the Pelicans. He did okay at the Pelicans.
The Pelicans, the Pelicans squad got Zion Williamson because they were the worst squad in the NBA. What was he supposed to do? And that squad was the Lakers. That was just the Lakers in New Orleans. They took all of the Lakers lineup.
Look at all those young guys that left LA. Look at all the careers of the young guys that left LA and look at the trajectory they are on now. Every single one of them.
Look great.
Every single one of them. All 5 of those guys that were playing before LeBron got there, they're all out there hooping on other teams.
Yeah.
You're right about that. You're 100% right about that. But look, when those 5 guys went to the Pelicans, what were they doing?
The same thing they were doing on the Lakers because they were still 19 and 20 years old. Brandon Ingram was like 160 pounds when he got there, and now he's averaging like 28 a game.
I feel like when they went to the Pelicans, the only one who balled out was Ingram. That's the only one. Only one.
Well,
like,
he was always the scorer.
I feel like now, I feel like Ingram ain't even balling out now. I feel like it's like Lonzo. Kuzma even went through a step where he's balling out for the Wizards. But I feel like it's one of the things, Hart's either stepping up, you know what I'm saying? But Hart ain't do shit for literally the last 2 years.
How many Pelicans games have you watched in your entire life, bro?
Seriously. To be honest, I actually watched a lot of them because I liked Adams. So once they got rid of Adams, I was like, I'm out, man. Because I wasn't playing. You know what I'm saying? But, I mean, look, when the squad was there, I did watch them because, you know, you got to watch where the Lakers put people.
Exactly.
If it was a bad move, right?
At least you admitted to it.
Yeah.
Yo, man, look, I watched enough.
You watch 4 games a year, and you don't tell me I haven't seen Josh Hart hoop at all. I'm like, well, that's because nobody watches New Orleans play basketball.
Oh, yeah. You know, I agree. I agree to an extent. So, look, the first year when they did their trade, I watched probably a good 30 of their games. And I was like, I could see why they got traded because I thought it was a bad trade. You literally let all your young guys go. Am I right or wrong? For Anthony Davis.
It's a bad franchise move if you think that you're gonna you have a squad. Like if you just let those guys grow and develop, yes. But they did not think in a million years they were gonna have LeBron James come available and want to come to the Lakers when they hadn't gone to the playoffs and since Kobe was in his prime. You know, so that just changed everything. Then you bring in LeBron and it's like, all right, well, I got 35-year-old LeBron, 18-year-old locker room. What are they even gonna talk about? Like those are his kids in the locker room.
No, you're right. But on the other hand, though, it already paid off. They already won a ring.
Yeah.
It paid off.
But
look, I don't care if all 5 of those guys get all-star for the next 5 years. They ain't getting no ring.
Yeah.
And even if they get a ring somewhere else, you got your ring. You got your chip. So it already paid for itself. You know what I'm saying?
I agree with that, though. I agree. They brought the Lakers back to relevance. But nobody was talking about the Lakers for a long time. They got another championship. They did what they were supposed to do. But this is what you already knew coming in, unless you got a bunch of free agents that wanted to come to LA. And AD should have been the one that you passed the throne off to. But like I said, remember I said weeks ago, I said AD wakes up hurt. And every time I watch the game, he gets hurt. And legit, it upsets you at some point, but it's just like, at what quarter is it going to be that AD looks up and he's grimacing and he's coming off the court for something? And it's like it never fails.
Yeah, you're right. Every game he's on something.
Sorry.
Like it's like the ball went off his forehead and he's Grimson. I'm like,
Right.
damn, the ball hits you in your forehead, it hits you in your unibrow. Like,
Oh God.
it's bad. It's bad. Like he is literally Mr. Glass. Like fragile.
Mm-hmm. There's
The only
no
person I
trade
feel
value
bad
on the
for-
squad. Like the LA
No.
Lakers they're going to be in a bad spot once LeBron's gone, unless he sticks around long enough for them to bring in Bronny. Because
I think that's gonna be a deal right there. Like Bronny and LeBron, I would give up Anthony Davis. Like, I'm like, look, just sign my 16-year-old son right now. We'll get up Anthony. You know what I'm saying?
The only person I feel bad for on that whole team though is Carmelo Anthony. I
That
really
was
do. Are you serious?
early his
He was
life.
up there. Come on, man.
Yo, he's lit. Have you been watching the games? He's
I don't like
having
watching that.
time of his life. Like, I
hate watching that.
put in that. Am I right? Am I right, Philip?
he found
Literally
the
every
perfect
highlight.
spot.
He's like
Yeah.
all day. I feel like this rejuvenized. Like I felt like he had one foot out the door, and now he thinks he's gonna play for
But
another
that's
year.
my point. That's my
Like,
point. Like
This was supposed to be the farewell for him, right? But now
exactly.
he's freeze. It's like, hello, I'm still here.
Oh, you
Now
feel
he's
bad
pissed.
for Carmelo because he didn't come to the Lakers and it was an instant championship, so he could just walk off. That's what it is.
Yep.
Oh, because he deserves it.
I was
Because
like,
he hasn't
B-Wall's
gotten
in the
one.
building. Come on, B-Wall.
This dude has had multiple squads. He had the Nuggets to himself. They traded away the whole squad, went to New York, got his own squad. Now he's Portland, OKC, like he's moved around. Why do you now feel bad that he doesn't have a championship this year? He's supposed to be a contributor. He needs to put up points.
And look, if he wanted to ring that bad, he was supposed to be in the Miami Heat, not Chris Bosh. So I don't got no sympathy for him. He let
I didn't know that.
Yeah, yo. So look, when he re-signed with New York, he had an opportunity to sign a long deal with New York or go to Miami, and he chose to stay with New York.
Stay with New York.
And he'll tell you it. Like everybody, that's a fact. If you watch VAD, all that stuff, that's a fact. He signed. He was like, look. He's like, LeBron was like, hey, look, let's do it. Like, you know what I'm saying? He's like, whoever's home, because LeBron could have gone to New York. Like, LeBron could have gone wherever he wanted, because at the end of the day, they all took a sacrifice and took less money. But really, the two stars that were going to stick together no matter what was LeBron and Wade. You see what I'm saying? They couldn't get Chris Paul in there because Chris Paul's deal was like, he didn't have that availability to either re-up or do anything. You know what I'm saying? But everybody else, man. So they ended up getting Chris Bosh, which when you look at Chris Bosh on paper, I would have took Bosh over Melo. Would you?
I've always seen Chris Bosh as LaMarcus Aldridge. Like he's a solid 4, but I never saw that as the big 3 to begin with. I don't know.
Either, right? I got you.
Because him going down there, it's like I get slack when people are like, "Well, you had D Wade." I'm like, he had a shell of D Wade. If you go back and watch the highlights, they won a championship. He still felt like he was on the tail end of his prime. Beyond that, no. I think they wasted the first year. I think they lost to like the Mavericks or something like that. They had the better squad. They couldn't decide who was the alpha on the squad. Then the following year, they finally gave it to LeBron and they won. But D Wade wasn't flying through the air and stuff like that. Like it was not that same guy. But
right about that.
LeBron, it's his fault at the end of the day because he is the GM of these squads.
Yeah.
You go get Kevin Love. You chose Kevin Love out of all the dudes you could get. You went up to Minnesota and got this 20-10 guy.
He still won with him though.
He won, because LeBron knew he just needed those pieces, but he had to drag them along.
No, you're right.
Yeah, that was not it.
But look, if that first year that when Kyrie was hurt and was hurt, if they were not hurt, they would have won that year. LeBron literally led everybody in all statistics stats possible. Literally, offense and defense. Like, and they only lost by a couple bucks. Like, literally, I'm talking about like him. The reason why they lost in that game 2, don't you remember when he won? He drove in and they didn't call that foul.
Mm-hmm.
that right there would have sealed the game. They don't call the foul. It goes to overtime. They end up winning. It goes back to Golden State. Golden State, that's the defer off. If they would have gone to Golden State up 3-1, it'd have been a wrap.
Mhm.
It'd have been a wrap, man. Like, I
And
say
J.R.
that.
Smith showed up.
But it was one of the things. It wasn't. Look, I was like, I can deal with Kyrie. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look, they were out, but I felt like it was poor officiating. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Like literally, they treated him like he was Shaq and was like, oh, you should be able to play through the contact. That's bullshit. It's the last 30 seconds, and then later in the week, you know how they do where they check back to see the last 2 minutes to see all the fouls. Then they want to talk about it. Well, you know, it is a foul, but it's LeBron. No, there is no buts. If I slap you in your face, it don't matter if you're big, if you're small. A slap in the face is a slap in the face. Am I right or wrong?
Oh,
That's right.
man.
Yeah. All right. Well,
What up, genius?
Hey,
What up,
G.
family?
what
What
up,
up,
G?
brothers?
man?
What up? What up? What up?
You watch that Patriots game or no?
I did, man. I started checking out, man, like at the end of the after the first half. And it's so funny, right?
Nothing.
Say it again.
After they was down.
Yeah, I think they had only like the 3 points. Yeah, they were down. And then so I got upstairs. So I tuned in real quick. I was like, all right, second half, let's see. Boom, boom, few drive, few whatever, first downs, and this dude throws an interception. I was like, I'm done. Yeah, man. Then, I wake up, I'm like 47-17. I'm like, well, at least they scored a touchdown. I mean, shit,
Matt Jones.
Huh?
Did you believe in Matt Jones?
I think he's all right, man. I think he's good. I don't think he would have been as good of a quarterback if he wasn't in the Patriots system, like as a rookie. Yeah. So I think really being in that Patriot system made him as efficient as he was. I think any other team he would have never had done as well as he did.
Now, do you think if you would have traded him out with any of the rookies, like as in like the guy for the Chicago Bears or the 49ers or even Zach Wilson, the Jets, if you trade him out with any of those three, you think they would have got further?
There are a few dudes. Are you talking about from this draft? From this
draft,
right.
like, because that's what he's from. He's from this draft. So either with Trevor Lawrence or am I saying that right? Trevor Lawrence.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. I do think there are a few. I do think there are some of the other rookies are better than him. Yeah, I do. Okay. I do think the only person I really, I think almost anyone. Yeah, like I really do. Whether it be is that Tua's second year or is
no, that's not Tua. Tua was year before.
Year before? Okay. Yeah. But even the dude from the Bears, like I think in the beginning, really what happened, I really felt like the dude that was closest to Cam, what was he in? He was from Ohio, the other quarterback, was it or Oregon? What was the other quarterback? It's a black dude.
You talking about Justin Fields?
Justin Fields.
Justin Fields. Chicago though, right?
Chicago, right. Yep. Yeah, yep. So I think Justin Fields probably was the better way to go. I don't think New England wants a black quarterback. I think Matt Jones fit the New England, system. That's what I think nobody was going to talk about that, even with having Cam Newton. Cam Newton really was going, downhill. But again, he was another dude. You take him out of New England and you put him back in North Carolina and you see how he performed versus how he performed in New England. It's a systematic thing, right? The system can help you. But I do think he would have been a great mentor to Fields because they're not similar in physique, but they're similar in style of play. And Cam Newton's a former MVP, I don't know to say really a Hall of Famer, but I do think, some other guys, yes. Like I watching Mac Jones play, man, this dude, I don't think he's reached the ceiling. I do think he still has more potential. I think he'll get better. But watching him play versus watching, Allen play, and Allen's the dude that we tried to get, but he ended up going to Buffalo. But there's a difference, man. The arm strength, the size, these quarterbacks with mobility now, like this ain't 2005. Like this is a whole new ball game, man. it's just different, man. But yeah, you know, yeah, man. So I do think even trading, if we got Garoppolo, if we had found a way to trade and gotten Garoppolo back, I think we would have got further. Like there's, yeah. So I think he'll get better though. I do think he will get better. It's just, sorry, but for a rookie to get here.
Don, what were you shaking your head about? I saw you disagree.
Oh,
I
that too.
disagree with everything you just said.
I actually do
Solitary
too. I do too.
syllable. Every syllable you just said.
Which part?
Why am I defending the stinking Patriots for you, man?
Which
Why?
one? What do you
Why am I
disagree
doing that
with?
for you?
Tell me why you mad.
Yeah, tell me why you mad. Tell me why you
Dare
mad.
you? Look. The Patriots are awful. They're awful. There's a reason why. There's a reason why they had no other option but to go and get Cam Newton off the street and come play for them. They had nothing else going for them. And the offense that they installed for them was a run-based offense. They were like, oh, if we have a chance to get a first down, we're going to beat you up some more. Every chance we get, we're going to ask you to die for us, okay? Is that cool with you, Cam? Cam's like, yeah, you let me play for peanuts. I'm going to do it. I'm fine with it. I want to keep taking bumps, and I'm not going to survive this year for you guys because you let me play. Thank you so much. They had nothing. All the receivers, all the leading receivers on that team are young, and they're going to be great. As long as they get time to keep playing and they don't get hurt, they're going to be fantastic. That team's young. Mac Jones was the best option out of that draft for you guys because he was the most accurate, most poised guy there. And that's what all of them kept saying. Ceiling-wise, he might not be as high as Lance and Fields and all those kids because they got feet and they've got more arm power. I get that. But for what they needed right out of the gate, and it showed with their record, was somebody that was accurate and could lead some young receivers to the ball, and he did that.
So are you saying the Patriots, are you saying they were awful this season or awful last year?
They've been rebuilding for years. That's why Brady left.
So you're saying they were awful this
nothing.
So hold on. So you're saying they were awful this season?
And about 3 or 4 seasons ago. They've lost so much talent on that team, but
they have.
Between age and not drafting, they've lost a ton of talent on that team.
They really have. No,
they had a winning record this year is a testament to Belichick, and I don't even like saying that out my mouth. But that's
right. So hold on. Man. So how do you correlate? How do you correlate awful with winning?
Because they did enough to. I'm telling you, they did enough to win, and that's what I'm saying. Like it was all strategy.
Did you watch the games? Did you watch a lot of their games?
But he's. I think we're
done.
done.
All right. Wait. Hold on.
Twice a day.
Yeah. Hold on. So before they went to their bye, how many games did they win in a row? They won 7. So they won 7 games. So hold on, they won 7 games.
Did you hear me say it was a testament to Bill Belichick, the talent that he had on that team to win the way he did?
Well, yeah, but you said, wait, hold on. But I'm still trying to figure out how to correlate awful with winning. So they won 7 in a row. They were getting on this hot streak. They went on their bye, and they had a difficult time when they got back. If you watched a lot of their games, they had games that they should have won where Mac Jones were throwing interceptions. So as poised as he was, they were losing their game, not because of the competition, but because of Mac Jones a lot of times with some of the decisions that he made. Like when you're down 14 straight, you know what I mean? So that wasn't the team. Your quarterback kind of made some big mistakes that really put you in a hole, you know? So that means in hindsight, they really should have won more games had Mac not made some of the mistakes that he made. You know,
so imagine if you had a Fields or a Lance or any of these other young guys that were all over a Zach Wilson. But imagine having one of those guys on that team. Right. I'm sorry,
but that's what I'm saying. It's like you said, it's a testament to Bill Belichick. So that's why I told you. That's why I said Mac Jones was as good as he was because of Bill Belichick in the system. So any of those other guys that are faster, that are more mobile, that are stronger, would have probably only been better in the Patriots system, which would have maybe resulted in more wins, is what I'm saying.
But the physical tools has never been in New England. Like Mac Jones is legitimately Brady if Brady could run like a 4.5, 4.6 40. Like that, like, and if you remember Brady when they beat like the Panthers or when they beat the Rams in the Super Bowl, his stat line was never impressive. Like, he did enough to get you the win. He wasn't going to go out and win it until he may have that last game-winning drive. But the
And
entire
he didn't make
game,
a lot of mistakes.
that's the whole thing. But look at the other guys that came out this year. Like, I love Justin Fields. Out of all the quarterbacks, I love Justin Fields upside the most. I don't know if he ever lives up to it in Chicago. Because of the weapons that he doesn't have. But that was like,
or the system, Chicago system.
It's just they don't really have the structure in place for him to succeed. You know, so I think like Trevor Lawrence is going to be a solid quarterback. He's kind of like the Andrew Luck of this draft. I don't know if he does anything more than Andrew Luck does, but like Mac Jones, I feel like Belichick felt most comfortable with the dude that we've had that for 20 years. We get somebody that's ready to play right now, ready to go. Like Zach Wilson, he has better skills, but that we've seen that so many times that it doesn't actually translate to a guy. He could end up being the next guy that leaves there and goes like a Sam Bradford type. Because by the time he actually gets good enough to be a good quarterback, the next GM, the next coach is going to be in place, and they got to get their guy. And he becomes an all-time backup. I don't think Trey Lance is very good. I've been saying this since the beginning. I'm not on the Trey Lance bandwagon. I think he's more Jordan Love than people give him credit for.
Yeah, I think Jordan Love is even in the wrong situation. Like,
yes,
you know, like it just certain guys are meant to be behind certain guys' mentorship. You get what I'm saying? So you can't have a Jordan Love come in there and be behind Aaron Rodgers, who's the cockiest guy ever, double discount. Like, probably ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? When Brett Favre groomed Rodgers. Like, if Brett Favre wasn't there,
Rodgers I don't know if I believe.
The whole thing. Look, hear me out. If Brett Favre wasn't there, Rodgers literally would not have his interception rate that he has. He has the best interception rate in the history of the NFL.
Oh, watching what not to do?
Yes, that's how you learn. You get what I'm saying?
That's
true.
You learn.
That's a point.
That's a good point.
He was like, yo, if he's like, I saw what Brett was trying to do. Let me do it. You get what I'm saying? Yo, like, he had the best teacher to learn under on what not to do and also what to do. You get what I'm saying? I think Brady, literally, if Brady could have stayed in New England and groomed somebody, I think that's why Garoppolo is so. As much as I think Garoppolo's good, he's so good because of Brady.
Yep.
Like, if you watch, the dude is 24 for 24 on quarterback sneaks. Who's better than that? Brady.
Yeah.
Who'd he learn it from? Brady. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's one of them.
It's true.
I feel like
Jacoby Brissett, when he was starting to make his run, again, under Brady, like, like, you know what I mean? Like, there's a few dudes, man. It's true. It's true.
Yeah. I feel like, it helps when you got that good player in front of you to learn. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't know what happened in New Orleans, because New Orleans is just, for having Drew Brees, maybe he was a horrible team, but their quarterback, their whole situation down there needs to just be thrown out. Like, I don't know why they think Taysom Hill be a quarterback. No, they need to. I guess.
Well, it wasn't. Who's the dude that got hurt that before Hill?
Winston.
Come on, black dude.
Jameis Winston.
Yeah, black guy. Winston.
Yeah, Jameis Winston. That's right. Yeah. So I mean, he was good. He was playing. I thought he was playing.
He was playing better.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when he was in Tampa, he had like 50 touchdowns. It's just he also threw,
but he also had 50 interceptions.
Yeah, that was he scored 50 points in the game, but he'd give up 60. That's his throwing pick 60. But he can play. But you also, Michael Thomas didn't play. So, and then you got, I don't know why they believe so much in Taysom Hill, because he hasn't shown that he could actually play quarterback.
So I think I think that hurts Winston, is them putting so much money into a Swiss Army knife. At the end of the day, a Swiss Army knife is just what it is. It's only one direction. It's still a knife. Like, I need a gun. They bring in a knife to a knife fight. I need you to bring a gun to a knife fight. You know what I'm saying? And Jason Tatum isn't it. I would have put him as a wide receiver, tight end, and called it a day. You know what I'm saying? But let him think he's a quarterback. You messing with the psyche of your quarterback, because your quarterback sees him not making completions, and it's just like, damn, that's what I got to go up against. It's kind of like when Hurts was playing behind the guy for the Colts. I can't think of his name. Somebody help me out here.
Talking about Wentz?
Yeah. Behind Wentz, right? You saw how quick they cut Wentz, right? To make Justin feel good.
I didn't even, yeah, but I'll take your word for that, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? They cut him quick. They was just like, look, we're gonna send him to the Colts and make Hurts feel like this is his team. As long as Tatum is in New Orleans, you're always gonna have that quarterback controversy, like where it's like, who's the true quarterback? And Winston,
Jameis and Hill.
Yeah, with Tatum, Hill, and also Winston. You're just always gonna have that little controversy.
I agree with what you're saying, but I can imagine how that conversation went too, because Sean Payton was, like you said, he was looking at Taysom Hill like a Swiss Army knife.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, he already had more production on that team before they signed Winston.
Okay.
So for Winston to come in and get like a veteran's minimum contract and then to have to look up at Taysom Hill is like, I see I got to earn my place on this team. And it was all generated to make him hungrier, because he's already been a top round draft pick. He's already gotten money. He's already been at the top of the hill. And this was a chance for him to be like, look, humble, I'm going to get you there. Like Sean Payton really believed in this kid, and he knew that Winston could do it. It was just slowing him down and not having to carry the whole team and throw 30 touchdowns in a year. He doesn't need him to do that in New Orleans. Sean Payton's another fantastic coach, and it's like he can strategize wins too, but he needs some kind of quarterback play. He can't be going out there with fourth and fifth stringers.
Didn't Hill get his paycheck after Winston got there?
Yeah.
Yeah, that wouldn't fuck with your psyche. I just brought you in on a veteran's minimum.
But that's what I'm saying.
I paid somebody who thinks he can be a quarterback more than I paid you. That's not hustling. That's gonna fuck me up.
I think Winston won the job in like the second or third week of the preseason. Like it was all to build him up. I'm telling you, like if you go back to the way the season started for them, because I was watching, I was curious to see if he was going to start, and they kept moving him up the line, and he just got on the team.
No, I agree.
There's no track record for Winston to win that job.
I just feel like the pay is what is fucking up down there a lot. You just paid him after the fact, dude. Like, look, you named Jason Winston James Winston. You just named him the starter, and still paid Hill. You still paid him. Like, it'd be one thing if you were like, hey, look, we gonna just go ahead and give him a couple mil. No, you paid him like a quarterback. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if I'm supposed to be your starter, I'm constantly always looking over my shoulder because you got a guy who you're paying like that. So
they didn't pay him to be the starter.
They didn't even pay him to be a quarterback. They paid him $40 million over like 4 years, like a $10 million. They paid him like a good tight end, a good wide receiver. My problem with Taysom Hill is the fact that you're a Swiss Army knife that's not great at anything. Yeah. So it's like it's not like if you put him back on punt return, it's like, we're gonna talk about it on the broadcast, but he's not Tyreek Hill. And he's not Gronk at tight end. He's not like I don't get the hype behind him, but yeah, they had to pay him something. Like if you're paying a quarterback, you got what, $400 million at Patrick Mahomes. Like he ain't getting paid like a quarterback.
No, I dig.
That was my next point. If Winston would have just smashed this year and even been consistent and put up decent numbers, imagine the contract he was about to sign in New Orleans, because they wouldn't have let him out the door.
Yeah.
But then he gets hurt. So now he's got to start this whole process over again. And
but they're
not going to give him better minimum, but
is it really his fault he got hurt?
Never is.
You're
playing football, man.
It's like when Dak went down, that was Dak's fault, because he was trying to get extra yards. He's trying to do the most back there,
We'll see what happens. I know they're going to try and bring him back, but now they have a chance to draft a quarterback too. And I know none of the quarterbacks are like highly regarded this year, but they do this every year.
Yeah.
No one rises to the top until they start doing like senior bowls and that kind of stuff. So we'll see what plays out. But I think that's their best bet. You got to get Winston back before somebody else snatches him up. He
Well, the
showed he can play.
Jaguars got the number 1 draft pick, right?
Yeah, I think so. It was them and then Detroit. I think
Okay.
Detroit got number 2.
Yeah, so and then you still got to worry about Atlanta. Atlanta's gonna need a quarterback. There's so many teams who need a quarterback right now, and there's not enough quarterbacks to go around, man.
It's not.
You know, because Ryan stunk it up this year, and then they had what's that one guy who's their Swiss Army knife
In Atlanta?
in Atlanta?
Is it Cordarrelle Patterson or whatever?
That dude's
What's his
live
Cordell Patterson.
watching
Yeah.
somebody
Yeah, like
both
Mhm.
sides of the field and look natural at it. Be your running back, wide receiver,
that boy is nice. Yeah,
cornerback. Like, come on.
he's
Like,
he's a
that dude is
beast.
$4 million a year. That's what they were trying to do with Hill.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? And he got the opportunity because of this. I'm not talking about game time. You know what I'm saying?
Man. You know what? I can hear where you're going with that, but Patterson, he's bounced around quite a bit. He was a former
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was in New England for a stint, and then and then
He was before that he was with the Vikings. He was with Vikings, New England.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's been around. But it's
Yeah.
also one of the things. It's like sometimes I feel like, you know, it's like a pair. You're trying to find those pair of Jordans that you really love. You know what I'm saying? So you go through all these players, and then you have buyer's remorse because you're like, man, I should have gone with them 11s because they were hot too. You know what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, all Jordans should be fired. You know? I think now Atlanta's just like, fuck, we losing. Let's try anything. They got a player in him. They definitely got a player in him, man. Because I was
Gene, how do you cheer in the playoffs? Do you still root Tom Brady on or not?
You know what? I mean, I'm a little indifferent, but like let's say for example today when they were playing, yeah, I mean I guess I don't want Tom Brady to win the Super Bowl again. I don't really want him to win the Super Bowl. I don't care if he goes to the Super Bowl. Matter of fact, I don't even want him to go to the Super Bowl. As a matter of fact, I really don't. He got it. That's cool. So right now in the playoffs, I mean, if I had to pick a team right now, I'm actually rooting for Green Bay. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, let's just take this all the way. You know, like, yeah, Aaron, you know, let's just do it. So, but other than that, maybe I don't know, maybe Arizona or something, but definitely not Buffalo. You know, not Cincinnati, not Pittsburgh. You know, I'm definitely if I had to see one of two win it, it would probably be Arizona or Green Bay, but Green Bay primarily. So yeah, but watching Brady play, I mean, if he's winning, he's winning. But I definitely want him to lose before it's over. So yeah. But again, if he did end up winning, I just don't want that. I have a hard time with the whole comparison, like, oh, Belichick made Brady, Brady made, we get it. I'm over those comparisons. But I know that's what's gonna happen at the end. Because I'm still a diehard Patriot. I'm a Belichick fan. I know it's not just Brady. I know Brady did tremendous things. I know he's, but I refuse to just, it's all Brady. It wasn't all Brady. So
it's never been all Brady. Like the fact that they had Brady there, it's like any great organization. Like it's still only going to be as strong as its leader is amongst the guys. Like
yeah,
we went down.
Hold on.
Yeah, I'm back. I love Ron, Gino.
I still have a bad taste in my mouth about how they did Brady. I can't. It's too much like a business. It is a business. At the end of the day, it is a business, and they've treated it like it's a business since day one. It doesn't matter if you're Ty Law, Lawyer Malloy, Vince Wilfork, Willie McGinnis. I've seen all these guys come. All of them go. Asante Samuel, all my favorite players. So I never bought New England jerseys except a Tom Brady jersey because the following year I almost got a Jamie Collins jersey. He's gone. Bring him back, then he's gone again. Like it's just that system that they have works as any other top-notch Fortune 500 company. The problem is when your leader is also the hardest worker and taking pay cuts and all about the business, everybody falls in line. Nobody's going to walk through. Randy Moss will walk through the doors and he falls in line. It doesn't matter who it is. And then when you keep getting rid of all those star players and the only consistent is Tom Brady, then you only get the choice. Is it Belichick or is it him? All right, well, Brady left there, went to a different, the most losing organization in the NFL, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and all of a sudden the same mindset translates over there. Don't matter who the coach is at that point. When you have your strongest coach is your quarterback at that point. It's not. It's,
I think
go ahead.
It's hard when people, again, with that argument too. Like, I know Brady chose Tampa. Brady knew what he had in the weapons, so I think Tampa, the only thing they were missing was really the quarterback. Like, they were missing that because they were stacked. They had everything that they needed. And I know coaching is a big deal, but even if the defense wasn't as good as it was, but having that kind of offense that they had with Mike Evans and Godwin and then Fournette ended up coming up, like he knew what he was doing when he went there. So I think that makes a big difference there too. Like, he had the weapons, and he partly left because he didn't have the weapons anymore in New England.
The thing is, New England has never had the weapons. Like, there's only a few years that you could really look at New England's offense and say one of those wide receivers could go somewhere else and start. It's like Tom Brady had Deion Branch in the Super Bowl catching like 13 balls, and then the following year he goes to Seattle and he completely fell off the map. Like, all through David Gibbons and Troy Brown, like all these dudes throughout the years, Wes Welker and Amendola, we thought they were superstars. They only fit that.
That's it. It's a system thing. You're right, but but arguably, I still think they were good. Like, when you say he had Gronk, he had Aaron Hernandez, he had Troy Brown, he ended up having Moss. Like, he had a couple of the other dudes you mentioned.
How long did he have Aaron Hernandez? Because I argue that Aaron Hernandez is the best football player the Patriots has ever had.
Aaron Hernandez was huge. That's partly why, this dude was murdering people, and it was still so hard for anybody to like really accept. Like, I had a hard time. I still kind of felt bad for him. I'm like, I know, I get it, but I'm like, this dude was damn near. He was a freak of an athlete, and he was like a good looking guy, and he was like, he was damn near a celebrity. Like, so you're right. I think he would have been better than Gronk because of just his physical ability, his nature. But I mean, for that little stunt, they had a couple of them together. But you're right. I think the quarterback, and that's the point. The quarterback makes such a huge difference, and when you connect that quarterback with it, all it takes is a couple very good receivers. Julian Edelman in the slot, Wes Welker kind of dude in the slot. Like, he had his, I think.
But you take those wide receivers and you put 95% of the quarterbacks in the league on that squad, they don't do what he was able to do. Like, that's an easy out to say, these are my top guy is Julian Edelman. My top guy is a lacrosse player from Monmouth. Like, my top guy, was a former quarterback in college and stuff like that.
Hogan and all that.
Yeah, like if you look at the guys that he's had over the years, he didn't have Devontae Adams or like those big names, those Michael Thomases and stuff like that. And he still
but then when he started losing, what happened then? He still didn't have those guys, but he started falling off a little bit in New England.
Because he was 38 at that point.
but then he revived his career in Tampa.
Because he went to a place that had structure there. Like, the
New England Patriots
they had structure in the fact that they knew at the end of the day, I can give you anything and Tom's going to go out and make it work. Every year they let their best players go so they could go and get guys that you'd never heard of before and then put them around Tom Brady and say, but we got Tom Brady. Like, I look at it as a way, it's like, when I go to work and we've had all this turnover and I've been the only person there, but we've consistently been doing something and there's no rhyme or reason to why this is working. We can't get someone from the outside to come in and give us a blueprint of why this works, but magically it keeps working. It's something to it. It is. It just is. It's like, if you don't really get people seeing you as the leader and seeing what you're capable of and seeing what you're doing and seeing how you're empowering other people, it's a totally different feeling than having let Aaron Rodgers go in there. And he's all about himself and wants to do his own thing. He's a superstar. I can throw 50 touchdowns. These guys just can't play. It's a totally different leader, but he's still that same caliber of quarterback. You can't just put anybody in there.
That's true. That's true. I also feel like this is it's a copycat league, and this is why it's so funny when I think about this too, man. But I'll get to that. Like, it's such a copycat league. Like, you can only reign but for so long because people catch on to the vibes. Like, it's like, watching like Sean McDermott, like, different guys, they're like, like, we're not going to out coach or out prepare, like over prepare ourselves because, they understand the format. There's only been so many schematics and things like, New England was always known for never doing the same thing twice. And then eventually you get to a point where after a couple of decades, you're like, all right, there's only been so much you could do. Everybody starts recreating different things. Like, it's like when Lamar, got hot. And now everybody's trying to figure out how to stop the mobile quarterback. Now you start to figure out a little bit more how to, put the spy out there, how to, create a new, defense to stop a dude like that. So it's not as good, Patrick Mahomes. Some of the dudes are still very elusive and very difficult to take down. But I think over time, like, there comes a point where it's like, you just start to learn different things. And there are teams that could have been better that are now learning those things. Now they have that chance because they're, whether it be, because like you said in New England, I think another thing is like, not only were they losing players, they kept losing coaches. Like, now this coach is a new head coach. Yeah. This coach is retiring. This coach is, just moving on to a different position. Like you said, so eventually, you're right, man. You keep losing these bread and butters, and then it's like, you can't keep, because now what? His son was was leading defense. Steve Belichick, like, Mr. Doing all
with
this
his mullet, yeah,
right. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
But see, like, I went to the store with my boy, and we went down. We were sitting waiting in line, and the dude that was in line had a Patriots mask on. So we just started talking, and he's like, "said Man, I don't know. I think he'll get those boys right and everything." And I was like, all right, if we're talking about the Patriots realistically, how long do you keep that chemistry in that locker room? Because everyone that leaves says it's like the most unfun, the most terrible place to play. It's just work. It's focused on this. It's stick to the blueprint. You don't say anything in the media. You don't have a personality, and then you go out and win titles. How long does that work if you don't win titles? Because he was like, well, we went 8-8. I'm like, that's not good enough because I can go anywhere else and not make the playoffs. I can go anywhere else and go be out in the first round. Like, you can say all those things. You can, if you talk down to Tom Brady, all right, it's a message to the whole team. Now you got a rookie quarterback. So it's natural you're going to be talking down to him. That doesn't say anything to the rest of the squad. Now it's like Devin McCourty is your leader that still has that same mindset of the old group, but you got rid of everybody. So now you got a bunch of dudes from Detroit and Tennessee and all these different places that they don't have that kind of mentality. So how long does the Patriot way last? I mean, like, when Steve Young left San Francisco was not title town anymore. Right. You know what I mean? Like, that it's in 5-6 years, you may not, like Dallas Cowboys, they haven't won a championship since we were little. Like, you don't look at them like, oh, it's guaranteed. That's America's team, but nobody thinks they're going to win championships. And he just lost tonight. This is their best chance to win.
And I don't care what anybody says. I know there's 32 teams and not that bad. I know I get heat for this every time I say it, but I am not that impressed with Dak Prescott. I don't care what anybody say. I don't love the dude. I think if they had a better quarterback, because he's just not the answer. Dak Prescott to me is not. I'm sorry.
Overall is great, but like you said, if you plug like Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers.
Oh my gosh! Oh, right.
I'm still not out. Like, to me, he's like the guy who plays for the Browns.
No,
like Baker. Baker.
No.
I wouldn't say that. But
Dak Prescott is this generation's Donovan McNabb. Yes, he will take your team. I think he may go to the NFC Championship even as soon as next year. I don't see him as the marquee guy. But there was nothing wrong with Donovan McNabb except the fact they kept running into a better team. They always had somebody that was just a powerhouse at the end of the day. Dak ain't doing nothing wrong.
Man,
Dak deserved every dollar he got this past year.
Put Russell in Dallas and see if Dallas don't win. Like
Dak
doesn't have an upside. You know what I mean? Like Dak
is like
he doesn't have an upside, man. Dak is, if anything, it's only downhill from here. I don't think Dak's getting any better.
Dak Prescott's game is similar to Russell Wilson's too. He's just only like 4 years in the league. What does Russell Wilson do extremely well? He extends play. What does he do? What is it? What is his claim to fame? What is the?
Well, he does extend. How many? But who has more completion? Who has a better completion percentage?
Again, if I'm talking about a dude 9 years in the league versus a dude that just missed the whole year and he's only like 3 years into his pro career, there's a heck of a lot of upside there for a longer window of time.
I guess so, man. We'll see.
And it's he hasn't proven contract.
Well, he hasn't proven.
Russell Wilson's been here since like day one, and when talk about not having a lot of weapons, like they didn't always surround him like they did Brady either. Like they let him have a run game and
boom. They had just like Brady. They had defense.
Exactly.
They've always had defense.
Defense and a run game. That's what it was always about. They didn't get a receivers and tight ends for him either.
Right. Whereas Dak has that. Dak has.
Yeah, he's got that in spades. I agree.
You know what I mean?
I agree with that.
He put up numbers though. Like at the end of the day, Dak did. Like I'm not even trying to defend that. To be honest, I'm not a Dak fan either. But I was never a Donovan McNabb fan. But that comparison, I see it every time that they're playing. I'm like, for some reason, this guy, he's not the fastest dude. He does have an arm, but he's got some weapons. He has better weapons than Donovan McNabb had. Him and CeeDee Lamb coming up together, and Elliott, I don't know what happened there.
Cooper too.
I was about to say that too. So, like, I don't know if sometimes I get hard on Dak because he still tries to use Elliott as that safety blanket, like his first 2 years. But if you look at Elliott's numbers, literally he went from getting a first down every time he ran it to getting 2 yards every time he runs it.
He's a running back.
You get what I'm saying? Like, and he's only been in the league 6 years. Like, he's like 5-6 years in. Like, it's not like we're talking about a 20-year window. We're talking about 5. Like, dude, you might still be on your rookie contract. You know what I'm saying? If it wasn't for them giving you him doing that holdout. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, I don't know.
I love running backs. That's like one of my favorite positions in the league. That's how the game should be played. But at the end of the day, you don't pay halfbacks.
No, you're right.
You can never afford to pay a halfback because they're going to last 2 or 3 years, and then they're going to be beat up and dinged up, and they'll never be that rookie 1 year, 2 year guy in the league. It's not, especially when they were using him. Yeah. I mean, the guy had like the heaviest carry load in the league until Derrick Henry started taking over for Tennessee. Like, you can't run him to the ground like that and expect him to last 10 years. He's not even Emmitt Smith. Emmitt Smith's average dropped precipitously over his career too. They just love the guy.
For like 96 years, just so he could get the rushing record.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
That's one player I hate. Like, don't get me wrong, I can't stand Emmitt Smith. And look, I was a Dallas Cowboys fan. I thought he was the best thing since sliced bread. But once I saw him as like just being there, just to be there to get extra yards so he could bang out records, I didn't like him no more. I lost all respect for him because it was like, dude, it's time for you to hang it up. You had literally he had the best line in the league every year. And if you couldn't beat the records with that line, then leave. It's time to get out. Then he goes to the Cardinals and rides the Cardinals for how long? Like, come on, man. Like, I can't stand that record. Like, to me, it should have an asterisk behind there. Like,
that's what Deion was saying. Deion Sanders has said it quite a few times. Like, what are we giving you a record in the book for if it was because of your longevity, not necessarily how great you are?
Right.
But I still have a hard time with that.
Yards every year for like 10 years. But it wasn't like.
But what's that say about the rest of the league too? If you have a whole bunch of coaches that still believe in you, that you're still capable and know you're consistent, and you're not fumbling and you're not making a bunch of silly turnovers and stuff, I think that still says something that they still want you on a team. Frank Gore, like, how do you talk bad about the guy? Like, any time that he gets signed, him or Adrian Peterson, they still produce. They're not averaging 5 yards a carry, but they're still going to produce, and they're not fumbling the ball on you. They're not causing a bunch of problems. So it's kind of hard. But I do agree with Deion with what you're saying. It kind of messes with the record book when you got guys playing for 20 years and they not magically, but they eventually get to that top of the mountain. I don't know. That's tough to call.
So who was going to tell Dion not to go and play for the Ravens then?
Tell me about it.
Because he did not deserve to be on the field at that
You know what? Dion only got there because he was looking for a paycheck.
Yeah.
Also, who was the
another ring too?
Mobile black quarterback who came in from Philly? Oh man, I can't think of his name, man.
How long ago?
They had Steve McNabb there for a while too, or McNair. I'm sorry, they had Steve McNair up there for a while.
Yep, and then they Cunningham, man, and Cunningham was past his prime, and they had him there. Like that's right before
Randall
they won.
Cunningham?
Yeah, they had Randall Cunningham there.
Yeah, I mean, there's other guys that could. There's plenty of dudes sitting at home that could have gone out and taken that spot. It is saying something that this 37-year-old dude just walked down the field and still beat you, and you've been playing it. I mean, it's the same. Like for me, I love watching fighting, but it's a lot different when you see the matchups and you start understanding the politics behind it. So you never heard of this dude, and they got you up against Cowboy Cerrone on his last contracted fight. It's like, who is this kid? Well, they just brought him in so they could use your name as a platform, knock you out, and then you can go off into the sunset. We forget about you.
But it's also football. It's also going the opposite direction too. Because look, like the only reason why Emmitt Smith was able to go from team to team and get an opportunity is because he was Emmitt Smith. Nowadays, they don't care. Like look at Pittsburgh's running back who was nasty.
Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah. How many more opportunities do you think he gonna get?
Because he keep talking. Now, Emmitt Smith came in and was a good teammate in the locker room. You bring Le'Veon Bell in, and it's like trouble follows him. Like I don't know how he went from like superstar to like 3-4 different teams in a couple of years.
Yeah, I know that's weird. Yeah.
The amount of money that he got from that New York Jets contract, I don't blame him.
Yeah.
I don't blame him. At the same time, like they broke him down yet again. They gave him the ball every down, and they said, "You're magical now. You can fly over to defense. We want you to carry this team." And he couldn't do it. He wasn't no bell cow running back.
No,
and they beat him to a pulp. And then by like midway through the year, he had all these injuries and stuff. He couldn't maintain that contract. He never was able to do that. And now he's nobody. Now he's a third and fourth stringer and can't even get on the practice squad.
Mm-hmm.
Should have stayed in Pittsburgh.
No, you're right, man. You're right. He should have.
He should have stayed, man.
Him and AB should have both stayed in Pittsburgh. They might have won another ring. I mean, they might have stole one from Brady. Brady what? 6 was Brady 5-3 or 6-3? He was 6-3.
Super Bowl?
Yeah, 6-3 for New England.
Yeah, I think you were 6-3. Yeah,
and
because they lost two to the Giants. Yeah, and then maybe one other one I can't remember.
The Eagles.
The Eagles. That's right. Yep, 6-3. That's the only 3. Yep.
Bro,
Michael Strahan. Oh, that dude, yo.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how can you hate on him?
Insane.
Yeah, you're right.
The dude, look, the next guy who even is close to that is 4 rings.
Yeah,
no chance of getting a 5th.
Out of the league for like 15 years.
Yeah.
I think his last Super Bowl appearance was 1996. Like, not worry about it. Like, that's one thing that will go down in history. I don't see that record ever being broken.
It'd be damn hard.
Not us that we'll get to see. Somebody wins 7 rings. He might win a ring this year.
And you look at even the coaches, like Bill Belichick's about to turn 70. Even as a coach, I mean, he has a 6 with New England. He has 1 with the Browns.
Yes.
He might, you know what I mean? So I think he has like 7 or 8 rings or something. So, like what other coach are we gonna see doing that? You know what I mean? Like,
Belichick got 6, right? Because he got all the same rings as
You said what?
He got the same amount of rings. He got all the same rings as Tom. But he got 6 rings.
Well, he got more because he wasn't head coach when he was
wasn't he with the Browns?
Yeah.
And the Giants.
And the
But-
Giants too, yeah. But I think
he was on Parcells' staff.
hold on.
But Andy
Yeah,
Reid,
he got
Andy
more than
Reid was
6.
with Green Bay, and I think he won one when he was an assistant with Green Bay. But then he got the one with the Chiefs. I mean, I don't see Mahomes going anywhere anytime soon. They're going to keep trying to build around him. And if Andy Reid has the wherewithal to do it, man,
I don't see
I don't
Mahomes.
know, man.
Mahomes
I
right now.
don't know.
Yeah, so Bill Belichick in total has 8 titles. Yeah, so there's 8 of them. He has a total of 8. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Who got 8?
Well, as a
Belichick.
coach, Bill Belichick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. He got
And
2.
so, yeah, he was a defensive coordinator. One when he was a defensive coordinator with the Giants, and then I think one when he was with didn't the Browns win one or something?
See, we
He
shouldn't
did-
even.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
He should-
but either way,
Wasn't even
But
part of the staff.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? That's like me working at the stadium and I got a ring.
I mean, not at the stadium. That's different. You
I
can't
worked
compare
at the
that.
stadium on the Super Bowl that night.
Nah, that's not the same.
That's
the
not
same.
nice, man.
They
not
ain't
the
giving the
same.
people making hot dogs rings, bro.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, they
You know
ain't
how
giving the
dope that would be?
gatekeeper rings, but I hear
Yo,
I hear the
come on,
point
man.
you're trying to make, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Can you imagine out there parking cars in the parking lot?
Oh
and they'd
my
be like,
God.
you see this right here, son?
Right. Well, it's like I have a pastor who was it's out in Owings Mills, and he was the what is it, the chaplain, like he's like the chaplain for him. Like, a lot of these teams have like a sort of like a a pastor, if you will, so he has a ring, he got, because he was,
Wow.
part of the team. But yeah, so he has a Super Bowl ring just like they do. It's one of those things. But because you were on the squad, so even the practice squad, even if you were on the practice squad and you won the Super Bowl, you still got a ring. I mean, I don't know. I guess that's why some of these guys don't even care. They'll just
Hey,
auction that joint off.
ask Todd Edmondson to show you his Philadelphia championship ring for the conference. He ain't even played one snap, but he was on the practice squad.
But he was on the practice squad, so he got his ring. I mean,
Get out of here. Are you
He
serious?
does. Philip won't talk about it because that's family.
He was nice. He was nice back in the day. He went up to the Colts and everything. Yeah. But I mean, when it comes to Belichick, yes, if you're a defensive coordinator, yes. Okay, we get it.
Yeah,
But
you know what I mean.
It is something to be said that all of the coordinators that come out of New England end up getting fired, though. Mike Vrabel is the only one that looks like he's going
Right.
to keep his job.
But the thing is, and I feel bad for what's his name from Miami, because I mean, Flores. I mean, come on, he actually ended up with a winning record. Yes, 2 seasons. It was way better than Matt Patricia or or Josh McDaniels, what he would have done, or in Vrabel's, Vrabel had more success out the gate, but like I think Flores had and I don't think he will sit around long. I think he will be a guy that teams are going to want to bring him on, because Miami wasn't just like at the end of both seasons, they weren't just beating Detroit. They could beat competitors, so he's just a strong personality, and I don't think everybody is a big fan of the strong personality. You're not tenured enough to be that strong of a personality.
You beat me to it, man. I was gonna say the same thing. He showed what his ability was to turn that team around so quickly.
Mm-hmm.
He shows he's a fantastic coach with what he had. Plus, he was casting off talent that didn't want to be there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like out of the gate, like the guy showed what chops he's got. I like, honestly, I looked at him like Harbaugh. I looked at him like when he was out with 49ers and he turned that team around real quick, and everybody was like, I can't stand this guy.
Right. He's another one, a tough personality.
About him clashing with the GM and clashing with staff and stuff like that. But it's like, is the guy freaking winning or not?
Yep.
Like, can y'all put a mediator between him and these other people so we can keep winning? Like, I don't understand like how these people think. When you're valuing these franchises at what you're valuing, Matt, and then you feel like you can afford to let go of a winning coach because you think you can do better and satisfy these fans and keep butts in seats. Like, How dare you let him go?
Right.
Like
Right.
he made Kaepernick look. Before I get myself in trouble, he made Kaepernick look like a fantastic quarterback as soon as he started him because he played him to his strengths. He
Yeah.
had a great defense that those guys built and stuff. Like he had it all. And then he walked away because he got tired of all the strife and everything else. He went to college. I don't blame him.
Well,
I
he
know
also,
he's trying to say he wants to come back, but
he also got more money in college. Don't let that. He got
He
paid.
did.
pushback.
He got
No
paid. He
pushback,
did.
right? He gets to bring in his own talent. He gets to do it all. He got to
Right.
answer to nobody. I don't blame him.
Yeah, but he coming back because now with players getting paid, that's changing the landscape of college very quickly.
Right.
Like, he might as well come back to, because if he comes back to the Dolphins squad, all right, well, you already got a borderline playoff team. I don't know if he keeps Tua, but I think he's going to end up. Yeah, I mean, he's just okay. There's just like I don't dislike him. It's just he's just okay.
He's just okay. That's how I feel about him.
Brian, man, because Brian didn't want to sell on. He wasn't sold on Tua, and the GM's like, well, bye, because I'm sold on Tua. That's a problem. Like Donnie was saying, that's what's up with these GMs. These GMs can love one player so much that everything doesn't matter. Like, don't get me wrong. Kraft loved Tom Brady like a son.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Until he realized his son was 40 years old and let him go. And then he instant buyer's remorse. Like he was like regretting it when Tom was holding up that Lombardi and it could have been New England. Am I right or wrong?
It could have been. I think, but there's still that whole controversy, which of course nobody's ever really going to know the truth of Belichick trying to trade Tom Brady, and Garoppolo was his guy, and there was just that where there's smoke, there's usually some fire. So I'm like, I know there's some truth to this where Belichick was like, yo, look, Garoppolo is doing well. He's young. We can breed him early. Let this dude go ahead and do his thing. But and then and I think that's why even now it's like there is still that buyer's remorse, but I still think that there is a piece that's like maybe we should just let him go a little earlier than now, because now we're in a tougher position. And then that's when they really started being strife, because when Brady learned that Belichick was trying to let him go, that's when everything started to crumble. I think a big part of Brady leaving is not just him taking pay cuts. I think the relationship was very sour, and in my opinion, and I could be completely wrong about this, I swear to goodness, I feel like Belichick almost made it to a point where Brady would be miserable and would want to have to leave, because he's like, we can't do this anymore. From trying to take his personal trainer away from the stadium and all that, and not having him travel with them for games and different things like that. Like, I think he wanted him gone eventually. It's like, because of similar to what's going on now, who's making who makes who, have a good team, that constant comparison. So,
well, if he would have gotten his way, Brady would have had championships earlier. That's all that would have been the difference there. Because you still would have been with Garoppolo. Okay, I didn't mind Garoppolo's game, but I knew when they got rid of him, like, that's still another player you could go get again. Like, even with his numbers right now, if you put Mac Jones on the San Francisco 49ers, he'd probably still have similar numbers. They don't ask him to do very much.
No way. No, I don't think so. No,
Garoppolo does not get asked to do much at all.
I don't think so either. I agree.
It's all West Coast offense.
Yeah,
that's why Deebo Samuel that's all it is. It's you look through all your progressions and then you end up swinging it to somebody, you end up giving it to somebody short and let them run with it. Like, Garoppolo's not going out there and killing these teams or anything like that. But I do think that it started to rub Belichick the wrong way when Brady starts in his later years bringing in his personal trainer and stuff. And it's like, well, I've always beat this guy down to make sure everybody else knows no one can do this. Now Tom's at the point is like, no, I'm not gonna. I'm gonna buck back at it at this point because I'm Tom fucking Brady. At some point, he just had to say that. Because when you hear Giselle come out and say he feels unappreciated, she knew she was allowed to say that and knew that it was gonna make waves. Like, Tom said that to her. Tom let her know that, and she says, "It's all right for me to let this out." And we only hear about the stuff they want to know. That's why the fact that we knew that they tried to trade him, they let that out. They found their favorite beat writer and said, "There, I'm gonna give you a tip from an anonymous source and let that go." It's trash, right?
Right.
I'm gonna go back to being a Patriots fan. Is like at this point, it's like I want them to win, but I'm not going out of my way to watch games. I'm still the employee side of me is still like, yeah, I want Tom to win every Super Bowl, and then the Patriots can win again.
Yeah.
Because by the time Tom retires, it's gonna be time for Belichick to retire, and you're never gonna get that answer.
Right. And you know the thing is about it all, at the end of the day, even going back to the first question of how I'm rooting or whatever, the thing with Tom Brady, of course, at the end of the day, if he wins 3 more Super Bowls or whatever, or 1 more or whatever, he's always going to be affiliated with New England. There's no way you can ever say Tom Brady without saying New England. So it's still a promotion for New England any and every time he wins. You know, it's like when he first got to Tampa, and then they show you the Tampa Bay Buccaneer joint with like a Patriot like type logo, because that's, you know, he's forever a Patriot. He could be over there for 2 more, 3 years, yeah. But you never know, and he might sign that one contract one day, like a 1-day contract, and just retire as a Patriot. I don't think that's impossible. I think it could very well happen.
Yeah,
so,
he'll be in the Ring of Honor and all. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.